dad. This is his story, but it's mine too. That was me, that boy, that this Jewish rabbi held in his hands and promised he would do great things to my dad. And my dad waited 23 years before there was ever even a sign that that was true. He kept bringing himself humbly before God for 23 years. And one day he got a phone call from me saying, Dad, I'm a follower of Jesus. Because a guy in a hotel in Vegas led me to Christ, prayed with me. But here's the thing. That was only the beginning. It would be another 11 years before he ever saw God move in a way that gave him indications that God was going to do great things through his son. Because it was 11 more years before God called me into ministry and I responded to be a pastor. The promise, the call that was on my life was to be a pastor. It took 34 years. And he prayed. And he changed in the presence of God. And he had a relationship with God. And God assured him. And then, when I was 37, my dad came to see me in Vegas. And he came to the church on the weekends where I was serving as a children's pastor. And he walked into these rooms where kids and volunteers were coming up to his son and hugging his son, telling him how much his son meant to them, how much his son served them, and how they were grateful for his son, his influence in their lives. Leader after leader coming to my father saying, thank you for this boy. Thank you for your son. And it was that night over dinner, my dad looked at me and said, I am jealous. I am jealous for the life you have and your faith in God and the way you pray. I'm jealous for that. My dad told me that. And there in that moment, after 37 years, I heard this story that I told you today. Never heard it before. I was 37 years old when my dad told me this story. And it blew my mind. There are promises that God has for you that he's been waiting to unveil to you that you don't even know about. They're different from mine, but they're there. He has promises for you that he wants to give to you. He wants you to come to him and seek him in a relationship and trust him that what he's doing that you may not even know, he's been doing for years for you. So the question is, will you trust him? Or will you continue to try to control the results? Will you put your trust in him? So there's three things. As the band comes up to lead us in the song, Here Now. This is the moment, every moment of the day is the moment that God wants to be in relationship with you. The results are secondary, the relationship is primary, and you can experience God's constant presence in every moment in unceasing prayer and awareness of him, here now. We don't have the past, we don't have the future, we have now, here, now. And God is asking you, will you come to me in the here and now? Will you come to me now? And will you surrender yourself to me? And there's maybe three ways. Some of you have been trusting in God, but you've been given up lately. Maybe this is the moment, in this moment here now, you need to give him back those promises, surrendering them back to him and letting him have control of the results. Just going to him and trusting that he's your dad, he's the righteous judge and your righteous father. But for some of you, you don't even know the promises of God. And maybe this is the time to start looking into what his word says and the promises he makes and start memorizing them, pursuing the promises that he's given to all of us, but also the personal promises, praying and asking, what promises do you want to make to me that I can trust in? Because he's got them for you. It took me 37 years to know what the promise was that was on my life. It had always been there. Your promises are there. Maybe for some of you, it isn't a matter of giving up on the promises. Maybe you have to give in because you've never put your trust in God. You've never even given him a chance. Maybe now is the time to start asking him, show me that you're real. Put it out to him if he's there. He wants you to know it. Guys, God has made promises to me about this community. And he told me this, if I will give my life for this community, if I will be here for life, he will make us into a community that multiplies by loving and serving and investing in others. I believe that.